Hey everyone, welcome to the Everyday Human podcast. My name is Easton Taverna. Each day I'll share a reflection written by me and inspired by literature, poetry, music, movies, video games, and more. And after that, I'll share a prompt for you to write your own reflection. Together, we'll explore what it means to be human. Every month, we'll walk a new path, taking a look at life, death, the universe, and everything in between. Thanks for coming along. I'm glad you're here. For more, visit eastontaverna.com or join me on Instagram at _everydayhuman. It is March 24th. How are you doing? We just got back from the kiddos' school. It's a forest school, and it's awesome. We spent the morning cleaning things up, gardening, and fixing and building a few structures with the other parents, and it was great. It's good to have a sense of community like that. Everyone coming together, doing their part, using their skills. It was a lot of work, but we enjoyed it. And we got to spend some time in the woods by the pond, which is always lovely. Today's reflection is titled, A Promise as a Prison. This was inspired by a quote from the book The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. This is a non-fiction work. It consists of 2 essays. One is called My Dungeon Shook, Letter to My Nephew on the 100th Anniversary of the Emancipation, and the other is Down at the Cross, Letter from a Region of My Mind. The Fire Next Time explores racial tensions in the U.S. when Baldwin was writing it, early 1960s. I think he wrote it in 1962, and it was published in 63. It looks at racial identity, embracing one's history without being consumed by it, and the urgent need for a moral interracial revolution or reckoning, challenging racial systemic injustices. And Baldwin warns of societal ruin if racial tensions aren't resolved. It's a great book, a short read, hard-hitting, and worth your time if you haven't checked it out. Baldwin was an American writer and civil rights activist. He wrote novels, plays, poems. In his works, he focused a lot on race, masculinity, sexuality, and class. He was a sort of bridge between the literary world and social activism at the time. I first read his work in college, and it was fun to get back into it a bit last year, working on The Everyday Human. All right, here's the quote. Life is tragic simply because the earth turns and the sun inexorably rises and sets. And one day, for each of us, the sun will go down for the last time. Perhaps the whole root of our trouble, the human trouble, is that we will sacrifice all the beauty of our lives. We will imprison ourselves in totems, taboos, crosses, blood sacrifices, steeples, mosques, races, armies, flags, nations, in order to deny the fact of death, the only fact we have. It seems to me that one ought to rejoice in the fact of death, ought to decide, indeed, to earn one's death by confronting with passion the conundrum of life. One is responsible for life. It is the small beacon in that terrifying darkness from which we come and to which we shall return. I think that quote knocked me out of my chair the first time I read it. It's wonderful. All right, here's my reflection. Night falls over an old house in Amityville, built in 1930, though part of it, urban legend holds, was taken from a toll house where George Washington once spent the night. The Historic Society stops in front of it once a year on a trolley to show it off. The house is just north of the train tracks, and as I kneel on the folded bath towel at the small altar I made atop my dresser, I can feel the floor quiver slightly as the evening train rolls through on its way from Montauk to Manhattan. I move my rosary beads into a small nest, straighten out my prayer cards of St. Michael the Archangel, St. Francis, St. Patrick, and the anglicized paintings of Jesus. You know, the one with blonde hair and blue eyes. I make sure my Celtic cross and gold crucifix are in their spots, chains coiled tight and neat. Before I start my nightly prayers, I check that I still have my scapular on after my shower, even though I know I do. I take it out of my shirt and read the promise of the words sewn into the front patch. Whosoever dies wearing this scapular shall not suffer eternal fire. It brings me a small comfort. My greatest fear is dying and burning eternal in the flames of hell. I am 9 years old. It was quite a while before I'd go a single day or night without that scapular, or without those nightly prayers, and without the dreadful belief that no matter what I did, I wasn't good enough, and was some kind of sick and twisted sinner deserving of hell. As I grew older, probably around my junior or senior year, attending a strict Catholic high school run by Marianist brothers, I started to see the bars of the prison I was living in. I kept my head down for the most part, and did what I was told. But observing the treatment of some of my fellow students by the teachers and deans and brothers, the contradictory and hypocritical behavior of some of those brothers, not all, some I believe were genuinely good people, was the grain of sand in the crack that would widen and deepen as I moved on to college, and expanded my worldview through literature, travel, and meeting people with marvelously varying backgrounds, faiths, and perspectives. But thinking back on it all, while it was far from perfect, I wouldn't change a thing. It was a part of my life, and it all led to who I am today. There are times I would have liked to comfort that young, scared boy who sacrificed too many nights to prayers and fears of death and damnation. But for me, that's life. Learning, growing, acquiring new knowledge. Enough to finally make decisions for yourself and lead the life you wish to lead. If things didn't play out the way they did for me, I have to wonder, would I be the same person I am now? Would I see the truth that life is the small beacon in that terrifying darkness that comes before and waits for us after? I don't know for sure, but maybe not. And just to be clear, this is my journey. This is not an attack on religion, which can be freeing for some just as it can be shackles for others. It is, though, damn easy to imprison ourselves in totems, taboos, crosses, blood sacrifices, steeples, mosques, races, armies, flags, nations, all in order to deny the fact of death. It's natural. It's what we do. It's comforting and routine and human. But once you recognize it, and next time you enter and shut the door of what can become a prison of choice behind you, just be sure you don't throw away the key. And that's the end of today's reflection. All right, here is your reflection question. And I just have to say, I am battling some serious spring allergies. It seems the time is upon us when the trees empty buckets, barrels, transport ships worth of pollen onto the earth below and into my lungs. So I'm struggling a little bit, but I'm hanging in there, and I'm going to keep going. All right, so in your journal or on your napkin or looking out your window, safe from the pollen outside, or even while you're walking, if you're immune to this, think about, write your notes down, ask yourself the following question. What prison have I willingly or unknowingly entered? Can I see the way out? Do I want to? Or should I leave? All right, that's it for today, March 24th. I'll be back tomorrow, March 25th, with another reflection. Have a good one, and take care.